Hello, beautiful people. April Mac here, and I'm coming to you live on Tuesday to talk to you about the difference between having a hobby and a business. And this is part 2 of my 5 series masterclasses, all part of my launch party for Soul-Led Entrepreneur, a program that I'm running that people who are starting out in business might be interested in, or people who already have a business and it's not getting the traction you desire, then you might be interested in it too. And today's topic is really helping people understand what is the difference between a hobby and a business, because some people really just don't know, and why you might do one over the other, because there are legal implications in which one you choose. And the people that I've come across often don't know the difference between the two. So it's really worthwhile if you're starting out of knowing the difference. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about today is really in relation to the laws here in Australia. So if you're watching from overseas, it may be slightly different for you, but I'm sure some of the content will still be relevant. So do hang around if you are watching from overseas and see if it is. Hi to people watching. As you come on, please say hello so I know who's watching, because I don't know if you don't tell me and you don't send the love hearts and comments. Bring them on. So if you're watching on replay as well, hashtag replay so I know you are here. And please feel free to ask questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll come back to you, and comment as we go, because it's always makes it much more interesting if this is a conversation rather than me just sitting here telling you what I think, okay? And for those of you who are watching who are already entrepreneurs and business moguls, you can share your wisdom and knowledge too, so it's not just the April Mac show. So please do share, because I know some of the people watching either live or on replay are in the early stages of business, and the more knowledge and information we get at that stage, the better. And the part of the reason that I'm running this program and running this masterclass series is because when I started my business journey, I didn't have a freaking clue what I was doing. And I really got off on the wrong foot. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. I want to help people start on the right foot and get all the knowledge they need to create something really beautiful and magical that feels totally aligned with their soul's calling. That's something that I got totally wrong, which is why I'm so passionate about it now. So that's probably it for the intro. If you don't know who I am, I'm April Mac. I'm a business coach, mentor and trainer, and that's what I'm all about, is helping people really grow and expand their businesses and make sure that they're aligned with their soul's calling. So I do have a little bit of a spiritual flavor to what I teach, but very practical and grounded business strategy as well. All right, where do we start? So just in case, if you're watching me for the first time today, yesterday I did part 1 of this series, and it was really all around what it takes to become an entrepreneur for one part, and also what it takes to become a soul-led entrepreneur. So the two things combined. And I talked a lot about mindset because it's so critical. Anyone here who's watching who is an entrepreneur will know that it's not something you would do lightly. It's not the easiest path, but it's certainly very rewarding, and it will lead to the most quickest accelerated personal growth you could ever get yourself into. So, and if you're watching and you agree with me, let me know. I'm pretty sure most of you agree with that statement. So first of all, I want to talk to you about what is a hobby versus a business. So the main difference in terms of legalities is tax, insurance, and legal obligations. So with a hobby, the benefit of setting yourself up and just doing a hobby is that you don't need to declare your income to the Australian Taxation Office. And with that, though, you can't claim any losses or expenses. So the reasons for setting up a hobby would literally be because you love doing something, and you can sell your stuff that you make, but generally you would be selling it in exchange for the cost of what it costs you to make it. So you're not looking to make money out of it. And there's a misconception. A lot of people who think that that there's a cut-off level, like an income level, where your hobby turns into a business. And people, I've heard it bandied around that, you know, once you start earning 50,000, then it's no longer a hobby, then it's a business. That's incorrect. It's not based on the amount of money you can be making. You can be making almost no money or very little, and it's still considered a business on which you need to pay tax. And the main things I want to go through, what things the Australian Taxation Office would be looking for in order to determine whether what you're doing is a hobby or a business. So first thing they would be looking for is, you know, what is your main purpose behind it? Is it literally just to do something you love and you're then selling it or gifting it to people? Or are you doing it to make money? So if you're selling it at a profit, you're getting a profit out of it, then in general, that would be considered a business activity. If you're making repeated sales, so it's not just a one-off, you're making sales and you're growing those sales in some way, and you're continually undertaking it, then again, that would be seen as a business. So even if you're making $10 a month, if you're selling it and you're growing it, then it's still considered a business. It's not a hobby. If you've got a separate bank account then for it, then generally it's, you know, thought to be, it's probably likely to be a business. And if you've had to pay for expenses like setting up a website and doing things to set up an online presence, then again, it would be considered a business. So just if you're thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to do this as a hobby and see where it goes, then just be mindful that you might be considered actually what you're doing might be a business and you might have to pay tax on it. So really think about it before you get stuck in. The other thing I want to talk about is mindset around hobby versus business. I know, like when I started out on my journey, I wasn't ready to call myself an entrepreneur or a business owner in the early days because I was just dabbling. Like I didn't know what I was doing. But to be honest, now looking back, I kind of wish, you know, if I had my time again, I wish that I'd really considered it a business from the get-go and really taken it with a little bit more seriousness than what I did, you know, and have people around me understand that what I was trying to do was to create a business, not just, you know, start a hobby. So, you know, when you're thinking of starting out, if you're starting out a business, start with the end in mind, you know, think about what you want this thing to become, you know, and take it seriously and let the other people around you understand that this is really important to you and that you want them to take it seriously too, that you are in this for the long game, that you're not just having a little dabble, because it will affect, if you're thinking, oh, I'm just doing a dabble, I'm just doing, you know, a hobby over here, it'll affect how you approach what you're doing, and it will also affect how other people support you in that. If other people think it's just a hobby, they're not going to necessarily take it seriously and give you the support that you need. Because if you're going into business, it's a whole different ball game. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of passion, a lot of perseverance. It's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And, you know, it's really nice to have people understanding that you are there to stick it out, that you're going to try things. They may not work, but you're going to pick yourself up, try more things, and keep going until you find the right model. So when you start out a business, you don't expect it to be successful overnight. It's not going to happen like that. It's very, very rare that it does. But do expect to experiment, try things out, but approach it with the seriousness of it becoming that beautiful blossoming business that you envisage, you know, in your imagination, in your dreams. You get those dreams and imaginations for a reason. They are not there just, you know, as fancy little things that you're daydreaming about. If you get those, if you've had those and you want to create something special, then that is what you're here to do. And so often we just think, oh, you know, because we don't get the support, or, you know, we think, you know, it's just I'm just daydreaming. Clearly, you know, I'm just having a moment here. But these things don't come into our consciousness lightly. They come in because we're here to do these things. And once we get behind them, it might not happen overnight, but it will happen if you persevere. And I'm a living example of that. People that I work with and coach are living examples of that. Perseverance is one of the qualities I spoke about yesterday that we need if we're in the entrepreneurial game. So I'm just going to check here if there are any comments that I need to respond to. It doesn't look like there are, but do ask questions if you have any. This is going to be a pretty short live today. So I just wanted to make sure that you understand before you jump on in, or before, if maybe you're already in and you're dabbling away and you don't understand the difference between a hobby and a business. I certainly didn't. Then you've got that knowledge to know. So the benefits of having a business over a hobby are that you get to apply for an ABN, and from that you can bill people, claim your expenses. You know, you can have a .com.au website, which you can't have unless you've got an ABN, and you can claim your tax deductions and business expenses against your taxable income. So it's really worthwhile. If you're going to be trying something out to make money, then go get an ABN. I'm pretty sure it's free to get an ABN. It's easy to get. You can just call your business name. You don't have to go and register anything, you know, any name or anything. You can just use your own personal name, which is what I do. I'm just April Mac. That's it. I'm a sole trader, which is like the easiest, simplest model for, you know, starting out in business. You can set yourself up as a company, but that's a whole, it's got a little bit more complication with it, and you'd probably need to seek advice from an accountant whether you're going to be a sole trader or a company. And you also do need to check out, if you're starting out in business, check out what insurances that you need. Let me see, insurance and any legal obligations. It's really important to do that early on. So for example, if you're a coach or you're wanting to be a coach, you will have insurances that you need to get to protect you in case anyone sues you for, you know, poor advice, etc. So, well, it might not be poor advice, it might be just something someone decides to do. So just be aware and be, you know, go into it with your eyes wide open so that you know what you're doing from the get-go. The things that I didn't do. That's partly why I'm doing this, as I said from the start, help you avoid the mistakes that I made. So if this is of interest, keep watching for the next 3 days. We've got, what have we got? Tomorrow we're looking at gaining clarity on your purpose and vision. The day after that, on Thursday, we're looking at what kind of business models you can employ and how to keep your business model really simple to begin with. And then on the 5th day, we're looking at creating really solid foundations. Sounds a little bit boring, but we're looking at admin and accounting, and it's not boring. It's just, you know, well, it's a little bit boring for me, I must say. It's not my forte, but I've learnt the hard way that covering off those things early is actually really useful. Otherwise, you get yourself into a bit of a pickle, a bit of a mess that needs to get untangled later, and I don't want that for you. So we're going to cover off all those basics this week, and then at the end of all that, if you're interested in taking it to the next level and getting really serious about getting all your foundations right, then come and join me in my program, Soul-Led Entrepreneur. Kicks off on Saturday, this Saturday, and it goes for 10 weeks. You can find out more details about it at my website at aprilmac.com.au/entrepreneur. And if you're interested and you want to know more, just send me a message and we can have a bit of a chat about it over Messenger. But I'm really proud of this program, and I think it's going to help a lot of people start their businesses on the right foot. So I hope that's you, and I hope you've found this valuable, and I shall see you tomorrow for getting really clear on your vision and purpose. Lots of love to you all. Bye for now.